I've got my memories always inside of me, but I can't go back to how it was. I believe now I've come too far. No, I can't go back to how it was. Created for a place I've never known. is home.
I'd like to tell you a story. All good things come from God. Your memories are not contained in a building or things. They are a gift you carry with you forever. This is the never-ending gift, and this story starts off with two people coming together in love and creating something bigger than they could ever imagine. Bill and Lil's first big step after marriage was the Colmont Diner, where they served tens of thousands of people quality food at a quality price. But below this building, Bill and Lil were doing something even greater. They would fill barrels of canned goods and food and ship them off to Africa and other places where God has placed missionaries to do the work of the Lord. Although this small quaint diner might have been a local treasure, thanks to Bill and Lil, it was actually able to feed people around the world. From there, Custom was born, a mobile food catering truck business that still flourishes today. At Custom, Bill was the heart and soul of the business, and he touched so many lives of the employees there, who he treats like family.
So it is an interesting comparison how Bill has chosen to contribute, involving himself in the mission field in the latter stage of his career, and how the business itself has a similarity to the mission field work. Providing work for families, helping some who had a need in the area of immigration, and so on. Certainly his blessings are evident through what is seen as accomplishments in his life.
Thank you for being a part of my life. I never see my father, and you do more, believe it or not, for me like my real father. And thank you so much. Yeah, I love you.
I've been lost for 39 years working for your company, but you kept pushing and pushing. You didn't give up on me for me to go to the church, and I've been saved since February 28th of 2008, and because of you, I don't drink, I don't smoke, I work in a church every weekend, every Sunday. I wouldn't know where I would be without you. I'm glad you put up with me, so in order for me to save my life, in order to go to the church.
Я дуже радий, що маю цю приємну можливість сказати пару слів і поздоровити вас з цим прекрасним ювілеєм 70 років вашого подружнього життя. Це роки Божого благословення. Господь благословив вас рясно, як царя Соломона, довгими роками життя, мудрістю, а також і багатством, і щирим, широким серцем, яке вмішає всі народи, а також і мій народ український, мене, мою сім'ю, моїх братів, моїх друзів, місіонерів, вдів, сиріт, всіх знеможених, хворих, калік. Я дуже дякую вам і дуже радий, що ви це благословіння передали для своїх дітей, а також і для внуків. Хай Господь благословить вас і надалі. Ми любимо вас, ми завжди молимось за вас і завжди раді бачити вас.
Missions has always been a love for Bill and Lil, and they've done many things with missionaries over the years, especially with their dear friend, Bob Dyer.
It's been a tremendous joy to be able to work on missions together. I can remember when you first came to Shawnee and we had the opportunity of talking about different kinds of projects. And Bill, you told me, I make the money and Lil spends it. And what you meant was that she did the investment in missions. And I really wanted to look forward to when you would go on a missions trip. We did so many things. I can't remember all the different projects that we were engaged in. I remember we built a clinic over in Africa, and we went down to Peru and put up the deaf center, and there were just so many things that we were able to accomplish. And I considered it one of the great privileges of my life to be able to have you as a mentor to help me with the financial aspects, and that I would look for opportunities where we could invest money in missions. The greatest opportunity, of course, was the opportunity to build that church building out in New Guinea, and how that you helped me and told me, go ahead and get it done. That church is flourishing. It has a pastor by the name of Umba Maui, and it's growing, and the Lord is blessing it. And my life is just dotted with all kinds of opportunities that you gave me to be able to make investments in missions. And I can't thank you enough for the thrill and the joy that you gave me in my life as a pastor and as a missionary to be able to accomplish the things that we were able to do together.
Truly a gift that keeps on giving. Their love didn't just touch strangers around the world, it hit home with their kids and grandkids, who have been greatly impacted as well.
Hi, my name's Becky, and I'm one of Bill and Lil's granddaughters, and I just wanted to tell you a little bit about my story and how my grandparents have impacted my life in such a huge way. A couple weeks ago, I was home and I was going down memory lane. I was at my mom's house and I started looking through all of my old photo albums of high school and going to the beach in the summer and family vacations, and I came across the picture that I realized really had impacted my life and really where I've ended up in life and what I've been doing. And so I wanted to share with you all the picture and a little bit about the story of the picture. And so this is a picture of a family that I met on my very first missions trip in Chile. And this family is really, as I look back on my life, one of the reasons that I have chosen to be a missionary in life, and I've chosen to be in ministry in life. And as a sophomore in high school, I went on my very first international missions trips. I had grown up with my mom going on trips and my grandparents going on mission trips, and I always looked forward to the day that I was going to get to go on my very first international trip. And so my sophomore year of high school was my year, and I remember going and seeing poverty like I'd never seen before, going into homes where they had dirt floors and playing with children who had lice crawling everywhere in their head. And I just remember thinking, Lord, what are you doing? And it just broke my heart to see people living that way. And on that trip, I met this family, and this family were missionaries. They were indigenous missionaries who had given up their lives because they wanted the country of Chile to know about Jesus. And so I got to know them really well. One day we were just sitting around and talking, and I got to ask them lots of questions, even why they did what they did, and did they feel like they were giving things up for what they did. And really, at the end of the day, I just realized that they just loved what they did. They loved serving the Lord. They loved sharing about Him to other people in Chile. And they just felt it such a privilege and honor to be able to do what they did. And in the course of getting to know them, I found out that the mom was traveling up and down a mountain every single day to get groceries for their family because they didn't have a refrigerator. And as you can imagine, as a sophomore in high school, I was appalled. I couldn't believe that there were even people living without refrigerators. And so I called my grandfather, I called the 1-800 number at the business, and I said, Grandpa, you gotta do something. I said, I'll figure all the details out, I'll go buy it, I'll get them to take me, but I need the money. I wanted to help, but I didn't have the money as a sophomore in high school. And so, of course, if you know my grandfather, you know he didn't even wait a second before he said, Becky, I'll send it to you. Tell me what to do, and I'll send it to you. And so my grandfather sent the money, and the next day, as a young sophomore in high school, I got to go to a store in Chile, buy a refrigerator, get it loaded onto the truck, and get to deliver it to that family. And that was a time in my life when I really found out that it was better to give than to receive. And I got to give that to them and to see the joy on their face and for them to give all the glory to God that God had provided this for them. It made such an impact on my life. I knew when I left Chile, after seeing how that family served the Lord and loved their country, I knew that I wanted to do the same. I knew that I wanted to serve the Lord no matter what I was doing in life. And so as I continued to get older, I continued to do more and more mission trips, and I was a missionary in Romania and I got to love on kids, and my grandparents supported me through all of that. They even donated money at one point for us to build a home in Romania so we could take 15 orphans out of the terrible orphanage system in Romania and bring them into our care where they could be safe and learn about Jesus and know that there's a heavenly Father who loves and cares for them. And now I am actually the missions director at a church, and so I get to bring other people with me on ministry. I get to bring people all over the world to really experience what it means to serve the least of these and what it means to spread the gospels to the end of the earth. And so I really just want to thank my grandparents, because if you hadn't had that influence on me, if you hadn't been so generous with helping me to be able to go on those trips, and then also being able to give to the people that I was ministering to, I am positive that my life would be different, and I'm also positive that there are many others' lives who would be different. There's many people who wouldn't know about Jesus if it hadn't been for your generosity in my life.
Hi, my name's Weston Eckert. I'm the youth pastor of Estero Baptist Church, and I'm the grandson of Bill Sikora. As you study Matthew 28, Jesus gives one last command to his disciples. What is that command? To go make more disciples. And as I look at that passage, I see my grandfather in that passage. My grandfather lives out Jesus' last command. He's focused on making more disciples. This was evident to me at an early age when my grandfather sent me to Romania to work with the many orphans over there in Romania. It was evident that while I was over there, I would see my grandfather just supply the needs of many orphans over there, to see him provide housing to rescue orphans out of just abusive situations. My grandfather is focused on making more disciples. If you look at Haiti, my grandfather in his 80s and 90s would make trips over to Haiti to build churches, focused on making more disciples. And just countless other times as growing up, missionaries would contact my grandfather and say, hey, we need help with this need. And at a moment's notice, my grandfather would help supply the needs of many missionaries abroad. My grandfather just doesn't talk the talk. He shows you, he lives it. He lives it by example. He just doesn't tell you that he's a Christian. He shows you by his lifestyle. So for me, growing up, my grandfather has been a great example of what Matthew 28 looks like, how we are to make more disciples. And we do that by being the example, by loving others, and by meeting other people's needs.
Hi, I'm Michael Sikora, grandson of Bill Sikora, and I'd like to tell you a little bit about my grandpa. Before 2012, me and my grandpa never really had a close relationship. But one day he decided to ask me on a mission trip to the Dominican Republic. I was a little bit skeptical at first, and to be honest, a little bit afraid, but I went. And I'm glad I did, because I got to spend a ton of time with my grandpa, and I learned so much more about him. On this trip, everywhere he went, he would bring bags of candy for the kids. They loved him so much for it that they even called him the Candy Man. It was pretty cool seeing my grandpa keep up with us young guys in a dirty, dangerous, and uncomfortable third world country. At times, we didn't even have electric, but he did, and he did it with a smile.
After that trip, Michael was invited to go to Haiti, and he didn't hesitate at all. There is a special place in Bill's heart for the people of Haiti, and his impact there continued to spread.
He really loved going on these trips. He was up at 4:30 in the morning with the rest of us workers and stayed on site all day long. At one point, he even tried to help us with some of the construction. We just thanked him, sat him down, and told him to relax. We didn't want him to get hurt, but at the same time, you could see how happy it made him being there, interacting with the people, and seeing the whole project come together. He just really has a lot of love and passion for helping people. At that time, I was feeling pretty down and discouraged about life, but after that first trip, my life changed forever. If it wasn't for you inviting me on those trips, I don't know where I'd be today. So thank you, Grandpa, for all you've done. Thank you for your love and support, and thank you, Grandmom, for supporting him and loving him all along the way.
There are many blank pages in this story because we will never truly know how big of an impact Bill and Lil made around the world. There are many stories yet to be told, and we will just have to wait till that glorious day to find out.